Oh, no, he didn't.
Girl, yes, he did.
Welcome to another edition of the pandemic portion of the show. um, this is just how we do this now. I'm not mad at it. I like that we can still commune in this way. Thank you for joining us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Patreon, all that good stuff. Make sure you're following all of our pages. We do have another fun event coming up next month. We're probably going to have our next first date in September.
Yeah.
So if you are interested in being a possible participant in the next one or one of the future ones, make sure you send us a note and let us know. So today's topic is personal in nature. I guess all of them are somewhat. We'll talk about things that we might be going through or experiencing or something we read or something we've consumed. So I have this thing where I don't let go of stuff, meaning if you I don't even want to say wronged me because that's too dramatic. But if you do something that kind of makes me feel a certain kind of way, and when I say a certain kind of way, it could be hurt feelings, insecure feelings, feelings of anything in the context of a man, I have a hard time letting it go.
Now, not just a man.
Perhaps. But I was talking about it.
I know. Just clarify that.
No, well, I do. And so in the past, historically, it's not really that much of a challenge for me to let it go because the person is gone. So it's like, I might not have ever let it go, but that person wasn't there really to even know that I had to let it go because the person.
Right.
So I've been trying to think recently over people who are gone, men and women in my life who have gone away. And if I could try to take ownership of any of their departures. Like, okay, is it something I need to get over that would allow them to be here since I know I don't let stuff go? And I couldn't come up with one.
Oh, dang. Okay.
So there's only one that I thought about, a guy from a couple of years ago that made me feel a certain kind of way. I communicated that. He responded and acknowledged and apologized, but I didn't receive it well because he texted to me instead of calling me since obviously I was upset. And I hadn't never talked to him again. So I was thinking like maybe put an asterisk by him since he did acknowledge and apologize. But at that point, I really didn't have nothing else to say. And he ain't never done this to me either. So, so I kind of don't think I get that one on my list.
Yeah.
So I want to figure out, I'm a child of divorce. And so I didn't grow up seeing people argue and fight and get over it. I haven't had a lot of experience personally, obviously, in arguing and fighting and getting over it. So I know that I want to challenge myself to be able to get over stuff quicker than I have historically.
Right.
This is a self-awareness challenge for myself.
Yeah.
Now, do you think you let go of stuff? Oh, okay. Because
I know. So I don't think it has. Well, I was about to say I don't think it has anything to do with being a child of divorce because my parents are still married. Been married for I don't know how 40 something years. So you would think I would be an expert in this area, right? But I don't think. I mean, I felt like I saw my parents argue when I was younger, but I never saw any blow ups for real. So I don't know if that was by purpose on their part to shield me from those things, and I think now when I talk to my mom, or when I got grown. And I started talking to my mom, and she was like, "Yeah, your daddy did this one time," and I'm like,
"And y'all still together?" So do you think it's a generational thing?
Huh?
Do you think it's a generational thing that we kind of will jump ship much sooner? I think definitely people will break up and divorce much.
I think it's more societal than even generational. We are at that point where we're just like, we are the we want what's the word you when you want something you want it right then and if it doesn't work right,
the microwave generation.
Right, we are a microwave generation, but I think it's more societal because there are people our age and or around our age who can do this. So I think it's more of a when you're single and in this society it affects us differently.
And I think also the way we are positioned in the world. I think when our grandparents might have been courting, it probably appeared to be a lot more advantageous to partner up for both parties. But especially probably
right. Exactly.
It was presented in a way as, you know, then you get this benefit and this will be good and this will be good. And I think now we've lived long enough that it's like, now what's the benefit of me suffering through this relationship?
Right. That makes it hard for us to stick around a lot of times if we can't see a greater benefit with someone than we can see by ourselves.
And that's a major problem.
If my life doesn't seem to improve with you, then what's the point?
So I know that is both of our major issues, is that we don't have a bad life now. And so when we think about adding someone or something to it, it has to be an add-on. It's not
enhancement, yeah.
That's missing, but it has to be an add-on to what we're going to have. Mm-hmm. So for me, I want to let go. I'm not in a place where I'm like, oh, well, that's just how it is. Oh, well.
Right.
Oh, well. I am in a place where I'm like, and I've talked to you about it, where I'm like, okay, talk to me and get me off this ledge. Because instead of me getting over something, I would rather just never talk to you again in the history of the world.
Right.
And that's when an apology, an acknowledgement is like, so I'm good. Yeah. And I brought up the other day when I was talking to you about wanting to conquer this hurdle of mine. I said, I know for a fact, I've seen women in long-term relationships where things happen, and I have said, oh, she must just like getting her feelings hurt. Like for me, it's like getting my feelings hurt is, as much as I have gotten my feelings hurt, I promise you, I engage and interact with the fear of getting my feelings hurt. That leads pretty much all of my interactions, is the fear of getting my feelings hurt. And you would think at this point I'd be over that particular fear because it's gonna happen and I've survived 100% of it.
But you just don't want to go through it again.
Yeah, but sometimes your feelings gonna get hurt, right?
I mean, yeah, you're right. But what I'm saying is, with the way we think, the way we approach things is like, if I can prevent this from happening, we approach that way with everything else in life.
Right. But how can we truly prevent that?
You can't. But what I'm saying is, that's the problem. We approach it, and so we say, okay, well, the best way to prevent this from happening is by leaving you and never talking to you again.
Good riddance. That's all right.
So you have to find I think. Just be okay with.
Figure out, is this person worth going through this with?
Right.
So
do the pros outweigh the cons?
I saw this video. You know, you judge me when I talk about my TikTok friends, but
they ain't her friends for real.
They're not my friends, but the people on TikTok that I scroll through. But this girl yesterday posted this video, and basically she was walking out of a house talking to the camera. She went and sat in the car and said she had to vent, and she said that she hated her man because of how much she loved him. She said, I hate him because I love him so much, and I know I need to be gone, and I hate him because I love him so much. And it was just like, well, this is an interesting concept, because to me, I feel like, oh, he done more than 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 things why she should already be gone. But she's mad because she loves him so much that she stayed, but that also makes her hate him. And she does stay because she loves him. And I was like, I understand what she's saying, but couldn't be me.
Right.
And so then, is this person worth her going through these hurt feelings? Or do you say, okay, this person hurts my feelings sometimes, whether it's inadvertent, whether it's, okay, let me say something about hurt feelings. There's a big difference between someone who hurts your feelings to hurt them and somebody who inadvertently hurts your feelings. It don't mean your feelings are any less hurt. Are the same, no matter how you came at them. But what I realized, again, in me trying to figure out how to conquer this hurdle, I've dated someone in the past. I've dated people in the past who have done things that they knew would probably hurt my feelings. Like, consciously, I've seen them do things, and I'm like, he knew that was gonna hurt my feelings. Okay. And then I've been in situations where my feelings were hurt. And the person did not, I don't think they consciously did it, but I felt like they could have avoided doing it if they had thought about it.
Yeah.
And that's the one I'm more interested in getting over.
Okay.
I need you to think about it. I don't think you thought about it. I need you to, so you don't hurt my feelings. If I can see that you calculated hurting my feelings,
right,
I'm never going to be okay with that.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, that's never going to be.
I agree. That's a, you know, it's childish.
It's childish. It's petty. And when I think back over, I can think of like 3 or 4 right off the top of my head of men who did things to try to hurt my feelings. I look back now and think about the fact that I ever even spoke to them again after that.
Mm-hmm.
Like looking back now that I want to get over the hurdle, I'm like, I can't believe I ever dealt with him again when he did that. And it was to hurt my feelings.
When I think about people who used to try to hurt my feelings, it never hurt my feelings. It made me mad.
Right.
Because there's a different feeling, you know, when somebody's intentionally trying to harm you or, you know, make you feel bad.
Up like, what? No,
yeah, it makes me mad. Like, how dare you? Now, my feelings have been hurt inadvertently, I think. But when someone is intentional about it, it brings on a different emotion. It's not sad.
Is the emotion, okay, I won't be in this person's space anymore, or is the feeling, oh, watch it, oh, you think you hurt my feelings?
No. It's how dare you, and I'm not going to give you any more of my time.
Well, that's probably the only way to deal with that. And I think that is the thing of, you know, now there's so many reasons why we have so many more disconnects between women and men, whether it's just more options, whether it's that we all take care of ourselves so well by ourselves, it's just short attention span, whether it's just lack of commitment, whether it's just so much access. I think with social media, you can see someone that you can lust after and can actually communicate with that person just like that.
Right.
But back in the day, you only knew the people that went to your church and lived on your block. All those things, but I also feel like I think we have to believe that we can still have meaningful partnerships. And it doesn't mean that you're suffering through it, but you have to figure out, is this person worth me forgiving and forgetting? Is this person or this interaction with this person adding to me more than anything? Right. And for me, I think people have the perception that because I do cut people off, as you said, man, woman, or child, I don't care who you is. Once you hurt my feelings, I'm good on that. But I think people translate that into me being so strong. But when the truth is, I am that sensitive that I try to avoid it at all costs. So I'm not cutting people off because I'm like, yeah, look at me. I'm rough and tough with my Afro plus. Oh my God, you actually hurt my feelings. I can't do this no more. And I see people who get their feelings hurt all the time. And I don't want to be that either.
Yeah. I see that in relationships a lot, where it's just like sadness and miserable, and you know, I would never want to intentionally put myself in that position to live a life like that.
But then think about it. We're at an age, well, we're different ages, but we're getting older, and we're at a space where we know being by ourselves ain't that bad. A lot of people partner up when they were younger, so they just kind of imagine the alternative.
Right.
They don't know. They've never necessarily been by themselves for that extended period of time as an adult. And so what you imagine it might be the worst thing is worse than what you actually going through.
Right. This is true. Yeah.
You know, so you're like, well, at least I got a man. At least I'm in a relationship. You know, I saw this thing with one of my friends and
on TikTok.
And this man was saying all this crazy stuff to this woman. And I guess the point of the video was like words popping up. It was like, okay, I'm still gonna go buy those new shoes. Okay, whatever, just go put some gas in my car. Okay, I still just went shopping or say. And it was like all these horrible things he was saying to her. She was like, she don't care if she's thinking about his money she's spending or what she got out of the situation. And I'm like, I'd rather put my own gas in the car. Like, I ain't thinking about it. Talking me crazy. And that's also why you be having all these new seasons of shows like Snapped. Real Wives. And that, you know, because people be getting pushed to their nth degree.
Exactly.
And by the time you got this crime of passion and then killed your husband, it's like, well, girl, you could have left. And you so beaten down and not even in your right mind. So I want to find that balance between partnering with someone who don't hurt my feelings and getting over it when they inadvertently do. Right. Sign me up for that program.
Is there a self-help book out there for that?
I need you to be a person that I can minimize the risk factors of you hurting my feelings. But I also want to figure out how to get over having my feelings hurt. And then,
but it's like,
what's hurting my feelings? Why is it hurting?
I think, it starts with the choice. It's not always going to be your feelings that lead that action. You have to choose to.
It'll never be. that lead.
Huh?
It will never be my feeling that would lead.
No, if you let your feelings lead, you will never get over it. So you have to just consciously make a choice, I think. And I think that's what a lot of married people will say. My mom said it all the time. You just have to choose to either fight for that or choose to ignore it, or every choice is something to keep you peaceful at the end of the day.
And then you think, is this thing going to matter to me next year or next week or tomorrow? And that's when you start picking and choosing your battles, because you don't want to have, you don't want a person, you don't want to be in a partnership with somebody who's on eggshells, or even just would rather not even have to tiptoe around you, because not everything is a thing. I don't want to,
Yeah.
And so it's really about, I think it still comes down to communication.
Yeah.
Personally, in me trying to get over this hurdle, there's a couple of things. Sometimes you can know why you're triggered in a certain way. It doesn't mean you're any less triggered. So you might know why you respond to something in a certain way. That doesn't stop you from responding in that way. But then when you go back and unpack the pieces, you say, you know what? I'm like this because of that. And that may not be this person's issue.
Right. Exactly.
I'm bringing that to the table. So it's something that I feel like if I do figure out how to do this, I think I potentially could find myself in a healthy relationship one day.
There's a podcast out. It's a married couple, and they talked about this feelings wheel. I don't know if that's what it's called, but that's or emotions wheel. And it starts off with the main emotions like happy, sad, blah blah blah, and then in each subcategory is a reason for the sadness. So it's something to express to your partner where it's like, well, I feel sad because you did this. Instead of saying that, dig further into the subcategories and say, you know what, when you did that, you made me feel invalued, or you made me feel underappreciated, or, you know what I mean? So, and that communication kind of helps with men sometimes, because it's like, well, you said, whatever, but if you can explain it better, your emotions and your feelings, then you may, be able to better communicate it. And maybe
receive that. It makes a lot of sense, because I think when I think about what hurts my feelings or what will make me the most upset in those situations, it really comes down to, I don't know if the actual word is disrespect, more so the word might be disregard. I don't like to feel disregarded. Yeah. In any situation. So if it's a time thing, if it's, hey, you told me this time or this day and then you didn't show up or didn't say nothing, I feel disregarded. And it's hard for me to get over that, because I'm thinking, are you really that much more important to me? That you can't even regard my feelings and my time in this moment? I've lost, friendships with girlfriends when I felt like my time or my energy and efforts or my presence was disregarded. With men and trying to date, a lot of times men aren't communicative, but they also don't follow through. And so once I feel disregarded, be off with your head. I'm done with it. And so I feel like that's like my main thing. And I think if I was with someone or dating someone where I knew I was a priority, I knew how important I was, I think that would help minimize the opportunities that I would feel disregarded. Because then things don't go come up and happen, but my first reaction won't be the offense of being disregarded. It's, okay, something else happened. But I won't get there often. We were saying how a lot of times we haven't had a lot of practice in getting over stuff, because it's like so early on in this situation that it's just goodbye. It's like nobody's invested anyway. Right. So it's like, oh well. So I'm curious as to if you don't have a relationship, how do we practice this self-awareness?
Well, you practice it with whatever relationship. It doesn't have to be a romantic one. If you feel like, none of them people no more. I know. It might be. I need new but the thing is, moving forward, when you have a relationship and someone hurts your feelings and stuff like that, you have to learn to see if they're worth keeping around, first of all. Make sure they're that important to you, and then try to work, choose to get over it. Basically, I think you do that with any relationship. It doesn't have to be a romantic one. But I think that's the practice in it, since, we're not out here dating everybody all the time. There's nobody to date.
And so the great thing about having this conversation with you and obviously having it on tape is I know one day you're not going to get over something, and you seem so wise and calm and sensei today. I'm going to say, girl, you need to go listen to what you said about that. You said something about this one day.
Just because I say it don't mean.
So where are you on the scale? On my scale of 1 to 10, I've been accused of being at a 10 on the not let go scale. And it has been told to me that I hold grudges. And I always say, I don't hold grudges, I hold funerals. You become dead to me. So I don't even hold no grudge. Mm-hmm. I've held your funeral. Mm-hmm. We're done. Where are you on the scale of 1 to 10 of not letting go?
Probably 8.5, 8.
You're pretty high.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm pretty high on it, but I'm more of a tell you what I think about you and then expect you to get over it.
Oh, you are. That's very interesting. You do. You know what? I would not have said that if you hadn't said that. You are, and that usually is what I'm on you about. You kind of on me about getting over something, and I'm on you about, but what if they don't get over that? Or you can't just do it and
right?
Then get over it. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Mm-hmm. That's good that you know that, because I actually missed that on that list I made for you. I made of you of your negative traits. Yes, you have said that plenty of times when you told me about a situation or a scenario, and I say, well, maybe you should just follow up, or maybe you should say, you're like, whatever, he can get over it. Whatever, that was 2 days ago. Mm-hmm. Like, well, what if he didn't get over it? Well, you should tell us. Maybe that's my reaction, because I don't get over stuff. But if you acknowledge it, it is not gonna get gotten over with. Oh, sure. So I'm gonna challenge myself. I'm gonna find some measurables in just life and figuring out how I can let people potentially cause me to have pause about my interactions with them. And let me say this, you still gonna have to acknowledge and apologize and say something to me. Now, I ain't walking around looking for apologies like, oh, you hurt my feelings, you need to apologize.
Right, yeah.
But there does need to be an acknowledgement of what caused this situation.
Right.
And so in a lot of the situations recently, because I'm trying to figure out how to conquer this for myself, I've looked at these past relationships, I was hoping I could figure out one that I could then say, let me call and apologize about the breakdown of our friendship.
You couldn't think of one?
Nope. They all need to be called.
That's funny.
Couldn't think of nary a one. And I also thought that all the people that I don't deal with anymore have never reached out to me. And it might be because they know how I am. They might say, you know what? Once she done with a person, she be done. And so they might not feel like it's even worth it.
This is true.
I will tell you, if any of them ever reached out to me and said, hey, can we talk? Yes.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to be listening and let you start with, girl, I'm sorry. If it don't sound like that, it ain't no conversation.
Yeah.
But I've thought about reaching out to some people that I think need to apologize to me, and I thought, well, the only thing I could even think of to say if I reached out was, so you want to talk to me about what happened with So I said, and that if I have to do that, that means they ain't trying to talk about it. So,
they ain't.
But if anybody watching this or hears this, you used to be in my life and you not no more, hit me up and say you want to talk about it. I'm open to it. I need some practice. Let's see if I can get over it.
Yeah.
Give me a chance to try.
That'd be a good challenge.
That'd be a good challenge. So if you are estranged from me for whatever reason, reach out. If you listen. If you're estranged from me, you probably don't listen to the podcast.
I'm going to cut this as a tease and put it up there.
Yeah. I'll just share it. It'll be all these people on Facebook. Really? Should I hit it up? Somebody will have to share it with them because I already unfriended them or blocked them.
And blocked them.
Have it again.
But they unfriended you and you blocked them. That's what happened. I'm telling all your secrets.
You be remembering stuff. You are so petty. That is true. I don't ever unfriend people when we fall out. But once I see they unfriended me, I'm going to block you.
Because she don't think they should have access to her life.
If you don't want me to have access to you, you don't have access to me. Good point. Thank you for reminding me of that. I'm glad we're here to keep each other so accountable. All right, so I'm taking on this challenge. I encourage you to join me in the challenge of not expecting people to get over things.
Oh, okay. The opposite.
The opposite of the challenge, and I will work on getting over things.
Okay.
There we go. We're on different ends of the spectrum on that one. But I want to conquer it because I feel like obviously that's gonna be the linchpin to having a relationship with anybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna hurt somebody's feelings. Rarely. But I'm gonna want them to get over it too. I'm gonna have to acknowledge it and apologize and explain the actual intent that was misunderstood or misconstrued or not received in the efforts and that it was given.
Yep.
All that. It's called growing up. I'm here for it. I'll let y'all know how that goes. When you see the podcast next week, it's just one of us. That means it didn't work out. No, when she'll be back. But we're going to get after it. And we encourage you too. It's always about self-reflection.
Yeah.
Somebody just said to me today, I was talking to them about this issue. They had been married for a long, long time, and I was talking to them about the whole getting over it process. And she was just like, I just appreciate how self-aware you are. And I think that's something about both of us. We know what's wrong with us.
This is true.
I know what's wrong with me. I do know. I feel like I would have a better time in life if I got over stuff faster.
Yeah.
I really do. And so I'm serious about doing it, not even just for the sake of being in a relationship with somebody, but just for my own peace of mind. And, I just think I need to just let stuff go faster and forever.
Yeah.
So, I think I'm going to do it. I can do it. We all can do it. We can change whenever we decide to. All right, so let us know in the comments what you need to get over. What you need to get over or what you need to work on as far as your self-awareness.
And let us know who you think will be more successful at this little challenge.
Well, I mean, I ain't even worried about that. I already know the answer to that. You are who
you don't.
You are who you are from the root.
It's who they think. It's who they think. It ain't got nothing to do with you.
Okay. Let us know that too. All right. Don't forget, listen, share, comment, like, subscribe, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Patreon, all that good stuff. If you don't realize what Patreon is, it's where you pay a subscription to get behind the scenes content. We do these every week, but then we do a second one for Patreon, and it's got a little bit more information in it. You don't want to miss that. Yeah. All right. I feel strong. I feel better. I feel like this was a good talk.
Yeah.
Good talk.
Ready, break.
Oh, no, he didn't.
Girl, yes, he did.
You know, the podcast was born over me not getting over it. So, okay.
Yeah, right.
I'm getting over it.